This video is sponsored by NeuroCruise, a special event hosted by my company, JKD Global Travel. Sail away with us May 29th on the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady for a 4-night cruise from Miami to Key West and Virgin's private beach club on the island of Bimini in the Bahamas. Book now at neurocruise.com.
Welcome back to 100 Pounds Down, where we preach the gospel of GLP-1 and the word is good. If you've been considering starting anti-obesity medications like Mounjaro, Zepbound, Ozempic, or Wegovy, you're already in the middle of your journey, or you're heading toward that maintenance phase and wondering, what comes next? Bring it in. Well, hey, everybody. Today I'm coming to you from the airport. I'm actually currently in the Delta Sky Club on my way to Rhode Island for an equity and belonging conference. And so I wanted to hop on here and get another video out. As promised, I told you all I would be talking about some information on shortages and what you can do in terms of strategies to get you through this crazy period. If you didn't see recently in the community posts, I'll show you a quick photo of my outfit of the week from last week. This was me on the red carpet at CLIA's Hall of Fame event. I also mentioned in our community posts that I have officially broken past that 150-pound mark. So I am now officially entering maintenance. So going forward, I'll be sharing my maintenance journey with you all in real time so we can all kind of learn about how this goes together. So I know I told you all previously how excited I was because I was going to be on Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas to tour for a day, which is currently the largest cruise ship in the world. It takes on 7,000 passengers, and I definitely would recommend that to anyone who wants to have a great trip with family. But honestly, what really knocked my socks off was the tour that I did the next day on the Celebrity Reflection. So I will actually put a link with some videos and photos that I took during both of those tours, and I'll put that down in the description once I have it put together for anyone who is interested in hearing about it, since that's not what you all are here for. That video will be unlisted. So that means if you're a subscriber, you're not going to get a notification about it. So just make sure that you come back here and look for that link in the description, and that will tell you where to go to get that video. And last, I'm many things, but I am not a videographer. So please go easy on me with that video. Now, for us to get down to business, the shortages for all of these medications have been crazy right now. So, as promised, I've put together a few strategies that you all can try to make it through this period until the pharmaceutical companies can either get their production ramped up or get their distribution improved. Now, as a reminder, this channel has info that's generally applicable to all GLP-1 medications, but it is more focused on Mounjaro and Zepbound. So that will be the primary information that I refer to at places. But if I know the equivalent for Ozempic or Wegovy, I will definitely share that with you. So let's get started. Strategy number one is stop going through your local pharmacy. So many times I'm looking and seeing conversations that people are having on forums or things that I'm hearing in comments and getting messages from people about. And it is this constant struggle that they're having about, well, I'm not sure when I put in the information whether or not my prescription is going to be there, and when, if it is not currently there, it will actually come in. For folks that are taking Mounjaro or Zepbound, the easiest thing that you can do for this would be to switch to Lilly Direct. And I'll leave a link for you to take you to Lilly Direct in the description and in the comments. What Lilly Direct does is it's directly with Eli Lilly, and they have partnerships with some different distribution hubs, including Amazon, which recently was signed on with them in a contract. And so they're going to negotiate and have that medication sent directly to your home. And it's coming straight from the source, from people who are at Lilly and Lilly's manufacturing plants. So ultimately, that will make it quicker because it's kind of cutting out that middleman of needing to be shipped to your local pharmacy and then having your local pharmacy be the source where you will get that information. Now, the second way that you can do that, if you don't want to go through Lilly Direct, or if you are on a medication like Ozempic or Wegovy instead, is to still stop going through your own local pharmacy and switch to an e-pharmacy. And the pharmacy that I will suggest for this is Amazon Pharmacy, because Amazon has so many connections and contracts with different suppliers across the country. Even though there are shortages, they will be able to source medication at the dosages that you are needing more readily and more easily than a lot of your local pharmacies will be able to do. And so I actually personally have experience with having used Amazon Pharmacy back when I was kind of in that rat race to try to source my medication when I was not finding it locally in my pharmacies. And it was really quite easy. Initially, even if you get something from them that says, oh, hey, there's a shortage happening, within the next 24 hours, I had an update that said that they had the medication in stock and it was being ready for shipping. So it might seem a bit alarming at first, but overall, it does seem that they have faster turnaround times and better ability to source the medication at the proper dosage that you are looking for. Now, your second strategy for folks who are looking to get through this crazy time right now is going to be, if you are going to stick with your local pharmacy, you want to get on a proactive order schedule. As we're all aware, unless you are going through a private organization that uses an alternative option, as you know, I don't talk about that alternative option on my channel because I don't want to risk my channel violating any community standards. If you are on a regular schedule and you're not using that alternative option that I don't talk about on my channel, what you can do if you are sticking with your normal pharmacy is to make sure that you're ordering ahead. We all know that if you are taking this medication, that it's 4 weeks in one round. So given how long it is taking to get these prescriptions filled, sourced, and shipped to people, you should really be looking at about week 2. So that's your second shot out of the 4, to start the process of speaking with your clinician, getting your next prescription and getting that sent in. And that is because if it's taking up to 2 weeks for some of these things to be able to come through, you don't want to be at a risk of being in that gap where you have finished week 4 shot and you don't have the next set of medication to take when you start week 1 of whatever next round you are doing. So that would be another thing that you should definitely be looking into doing. Now, the third strategy that I'm going to point you all to is something that everyone should be thinking about, and this is regardless of what kind of medication you are taking. Now, this does take a little bit of savvy and being careful. One of the reasons that I have my website up on the screen is because that will give you some information where you can find to start this process. Now, our third strategy is product rationing. This is if things are getting dire for you. Now, if you are on a medication and you're at a certain level, I've heard a lot of people that are talking about needing to jump up to a higher dose than they're currently on just because they'd rather have something than not have anything. What concerns me about that is that, scientifically, we have seen if people are jumping up to the highest available dosage currently, at best, you may get a year and a half of efficacy at that dosage before it starts to not work as well for you. So if you have a substantial amount of weight you're trying to lose, and you know that numerically, if you're looking at an average of about 2 pounds a week, that's going to take you longer than that length of time, you really want to be careful. And as just a general rule, I tell everyone, stay at the lowest dose that is effective for you for as long as you can before you titrate up to the next highest dosage. That is the way that people who are taking this medication for obesity and weight loss should be using this drug. That is different than the way that people who have diabetes should be taking this drug. People with diabetes are told, and the instructions in the dosing for these medications from the manufacturers say that you should be spending 1 round on each dosage and then ramping up as that is tolerable. For diabetes, that is how you should be taking this, because you're taking it to make sure that you can lower your A1C levels and get the maximal benefit, which we do know happens at those higher dosage. If you're taking it for weight loss and you are averaging at least a loss of about 8 pounds per month on whatever dosage you're on, you really shouldn't be losing more than that anyway to lose weight safely and minimize some other side effects that could happen later on if you go too quickly. And so that is what you should really be doing. Now, for people who have jumped up to a higher dose, you can add another strategy in as we talk about this idea of product rationing. So, one of the things you're going to need to do when it comes to product rationing is, obviously, these medications come in a pen format. You're going to need to feel comfortable with transferring the medication out of the pen into a sterile vial. Now, as I said, my website is up on the screen, so you can go to my site. You'll click on the link that has the GLP-1 shopping list, and that list is actually information that talks about all of the different products that I and my own friends have used as we have gone through these journeys. So everything that is on that list has either been personally used by me or has personally been used by an actual friend of mine who is on that journey. But within that information, one of the things that is on that list is sterile vials. There are also insulin-sized needles on that list. And so those are the products that folks have actually used. Now, with product rationing, you want to very carefully shoot your pen into a sterile vial. So the medication is transferred from the pen into the vial. You then want to be able to divide that medication out and parcel it depending on what dosage you are on. Especially if you're someone who has had to jump up to a dosage that you really shouldn't be on, but that's the only thing that's available. This is going to be a viable option for you that will not only give you an extended amount of time to take the medication, but can also save you money to boot. So say all you can find is 15 and you're not on 15, maybe you're on 10 or something like that. If you do the math, you can divide the amount that's in that vial by a certain amount and you'll be able to get multiple doses out of that vial. Now, for people who are a little squeamish, I got to tell you, every time I took the shot with the pen, I felt like it was a very violent thing that was actually happening because of the lipedema that I had. Even getting that pen as a shot, it always hurt for me. There was never a time when I took the pen that it didn't hurt. For me, taking my shots using an insulin needle was almost painless. And the needle is very tiny. For those who take insulin or have taken insulin, you know what the size of those needles are. They are very small. Honestly, they are the same size or smaller than the needles that come in these pens. And if you feel very squeamish about doing it yourself, perhaps you enlist a friend or a loved one to help you with doing that. So the product rationing is going to be what you do if things are really dire and you're just not sure when you're going to be able to get your next dosage. Because at worst, it is better to be on a low dosage or a lower dosage than you have been accustomed to than to not be on the medication at all. Given what we know about how these medications work in your body, and if you haven't seen it yet, please refer back to the video that I just created that goes in depth on how this medication actually works. We know that you don't want to take a break on this medication, and so it's better to have a lower level of that medication circulating in your system and doing that work than it is to just be completely out and not have any product at all. And one thing I just remembered I wanted to mention for folks who are trying to combine some of these things, if you go through Lilly Direct, we know that one of the reasons that the production has been slower and they're trying to ramp up better is because sourcing the materials to create these pens has slowed down the manufacturing process. So because of this, Eli Lilly has actually been shipping vials directly to patients in some cases instead of shipping pens. So you're already a step ahead if you're going through Lilly Direct, and that's another reason why you might want to consider using them instead of going through your own local pharmacy. So hopefully this information has been helpful. If you've got questions around any of the tips that I have here, then please leave me a message in the comments, or you can contact me directly on the website. So that is the tea on some strategies to get through this sourcing shortage and make sure that you're able to still be on the medication. If you think that weight loss or anti-obesity medications could be right for you, absolutely talk to a medical professional, preferably an endocrinologist or an obesity medicine specialist, because those are the people who know these medications the best. I am not a doctor, nor am I a representative of or sponsored by a pharmaceutical company. I'm just one woman who's sharing her own experiences and her own opinions. And as always, if you find this information or this content or this channel helpful, please absolutely hit that trifecta. Like, subscribe, notifications, and I'll see you on the other side.